Hello my friends, this is Gilles. I wanted to say hello today. I just shot this English video, but the sound was so scrambled, it was completely inaudible. So I thought I shoot it again to fulfill that message, to communicate that message. I wanted to communicate on three powers that every enlightened person has. The enlightened, the master has only three powers. The God has only three powers that he exerts all the time. It is part of the Emerald Tablet of Todd the Atlantean. I recommend this book of wisdom. It is an audiobook on YouTube. And but this is very, very powerful, very potent wisdom, that eternal wisdom. For the three powers that man, the ascended master, has, is the power to assist that which is good. That's its first power. The second power is to transmute evil, to transmute darkness, to transmute ignorance into light. And the third power is the power of discrimination. For discrimination is essential in relationship right now, more than ever, in this time of great shift to discriminate in relationship to what we see in the media and even on the internet, to learn to think with your heart and to feel with your mind. And so, for choices are more important than ever. For the choices we make will anchor us into a certain, into the rail. It's like a train. For those, there is a neutral choice that we can make. Well, I don't know. I don't make a choice, but that doesn't really lead anywhere. There is the choice of the Armageddon. That is the collective choice. This is about this media circus of this great. There is frenzy in the media, and then there is the paradise timeline, the choice to emerge into the light, to achieve the fulfillment of our dreams and desires. And this is really what needs to be done. The situation is that we're collectively passing through what we call a dark night of the soul. All of the darkness that's been accumulated in the subconscious is re-emerging. So if you have nightmares or anything, any fear, doubts, nightmares, it is the dark light that is manifesting in your consciousness. So do not give it power. Just breathe and let it pass. Do not acknowledge it in relationship to say, well, I accept that as my future. Just let it pass. It is false light that is being released. For what we can conceive, we can achieve. If we can dream it, it is possible. If we couldn't dream, whatever we can dream, it is possible. Otherwise, we could not dream it. We could not imagine it. For we cannot imagine a square that is round or a round that is square. This is beyond the ability of anyone to do that. Even God could not make a square round or a round square. For this is just certain limitations that have to be accepted. But whatever we can conceive, we can actually manifest. And also what we feel, when we feel something, we can make it real. The song I'm going to sing is really much about that. And so right now we're going through this dark night of the soul, and there is a detoxification that is, for this confinement, may push some people to use more substance, to use more alcohol, but it is not a good idea right now. It is a time that is given to detox. In the contrary, it is much better to use this time to detoxify. And when we detox, we have all those things that come up. So just allow yourself to go through that. For at the end of this process, you'll feel very grateful that you've allowed yourself to do this detoxification for all kinds of things that we do that are not necessarily no longer aligned, no longer supported by the soul and spirit. And there is a ceremony, there is a process that is very useful to detoxify and to clean our aura, and it's to use white sage. For I only have here, I have some white sage, and this process, I'm going to open a little bit the window so that. So the sage is like we can use it to detoxify to clear up our physical space as well as our aura. I'm going to demonstrate, but. A while ago, in 1992, I was living in South Miami Beach. I had this beautiful apartment on Collins and 8th Street by the News Cafe. It was before the high rise and all those. It was kind of bohemian time, beautiful time. And as this really nice, small apartment, but very comfortable, very nice and very cheap. And it was a very happy time. But when I first moved in, I had some incident that was very, very discomforting, and so. I wasn't sure really what was there, and I had a channeling session with a friend of mine, and I communicated with my guardian angel, and she explained to me that there was some darker forces, darker spirits that were attached to the wall in this apartment, and she recommended a ceremony. I've already communicated on that a few years ago, but I will repeat it now. The first thing is that you take this white sage and you make a little bit burn. So in a sense, so just burn it a little bit. And then you go into the whole place and you own the corners or the closets, everywhere. You just you free the spirit. Whatever spirit is there, you will free them. They will go. They will be liberated. Another thing is that we to clean up our aura is that to use the sage to actually clear up, to move into the aura, to with your intention and your action. You move it into all your chakras, and you can also breathe it up. And so this is the first step, is to I'm going to turn it off because I don't want to be too unsmoked. Let's see how can I turn it off. I'm going to put it outside, so just cleanse up the whole planet through this process of the sage will go through the whole atmosphere of the planet and will cleanse the whole planet. So the first step is done, is to clear up this to clear up the space. The second step is you take a glass of water and you elevate the frequency of the letter. You infuse your light to elevate, to bless the water so it gets elevated, or you ask your guides or God to elevate the water. And then you go everywhere in all the room and you spray a little bit of blessed water everywhere. And then finally you find a little white candle and you put it in the middle of the space, or wherever it's central, comfortable, and you let it burn all the way, this little white candle, and you meditate. You consecrate the freedom that the blessing that this place, this new home will bring to you, and you invite all your higher guides to be the only presence around you in this physical space. And so this is something that we need to do whenever we move into some place. We need to clear up the energetics of all the past. For sometimes people do not know, but ghosts are real, and sometimes there are ghosts inside spaces. And so we need to free them up. They're just people that are trapped into this lower fourth dimension and hanging on to the physical world. They don't have that much power, but in any event, so you clear it up, you bless it, and then you sanctify the ceremony. Another thing that sage, I lived a long time in New Mexico and Colorado, and I was participating in many Indian ceremonies. I was very interested in that culture. I had past life with them, and so sweat lodge and many things. And when the American Indian used to typically use tobacco, they used to always put a little bit of sage in it. For if you smoke tobacco and you roll your cigarette, put a little bit of white sage in it. It's not very that good. It doesn't. It's like mint, some kind of menthol. It feels like mint a little bit. But first, it removes the addiction to tobacco. For American Indian, did not smoke tobacco in a chronicle way. They do it in ceremonial, and they utilize that for when we smoke sage. It's pretty strong, so it's not something to do every day, but it opens up our lungs to the communication with the spirits. And so tobacco is always been used in Asia or in America by the shamans to communicate with the world of spirits. So this so if you cannot find sage because all the stores are closed, for in Europe where all stores are closed, you can buy some sage tea and use it for that. It may not be as good as the actual leaves or smudge sticks that can be used, but it will still work. And but for me, sage tea doesn't work. One day I was invited by a friend of mine dinner, and at the end he gave us some sage tea. And the whole night, my third eye showed me only one vision. I always do a lot of things going on in my third eye every night. But the only vision I had was a brick wall with the word sage written on it. And so that was really not for me. I will never do that again, use sage tea. But it was. So I thought I shared this process. I hope this will be of use to you. For also we have to understand that we have this divinity within ourselves. When we say Namaste, it is the divine within me. Recognize and salute the divine within you. It is something that's used in the West, in the East, as Namaskar, or even could be say Adonai. It is the same process. It is the recognizing the divinity within and to salute the divinity within the other person. And when the greeting on the higher planes is somewhat say Namaste, but also we send with our intention, we send pink light into the heart of the person that we communicate before we even start the communication. It is a friendly greeting. It shows our unconditional love, and So it is a powerful greeting, understanding that God is not a rigid consciousness. It is the most flexible of all consciousness, for He knows all our thoughts and He lives with us throughout all process, no matter what. He never interferes unless we invite this presence within our life. And so it is always adapting to the actions of will of the creatures. It always balances out the energies. Through the law of creation, and so, but it works through the cycles, the circle of infinity. So sometimes we do not see that what we experience is a result of past cause, and we do not see that the cause that we make, the cause that we create now, the effect that it will have. But every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. And so the highest choice, it is very important to understand the meaning of the choices we make right now, for it will determine our future. And the highest choice we can make is to choose to do the will of the Father in heaven. For when we choose to do that, we choose the highest good for ourselves and others. We are aligning with the highest wisdom, for wisdom comes as a result of its applied knowledge. And so, for the three powers of God, I don't know if I mentioned that, but the three powers of God that God cannot stop to always utilize is the power of love, wisdom, and power. For love is the... Did I mention that already? I don't want to... Is the power, is the love is the knowledge of all things. Wisdom is the knowledge of all means, and infinite power is the combination of infinite love and infinite wisdom, and this is always exercised. That the Creator always does that. For right now, there is a comet named C19 Atlas she's turning around the sun, and we were planning to see it coming into the vision of the Earth, but I think it's dissolving, and so his energy will go throughout the whole solar system, and he will assist in lifting up the energies. For when there is this DNA transformation right now, our DNA is connected to our own soul and spirit, but it's also connecting to all our ancestries, our father, mother, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. We are assisting in bringing the whole ancestry into balance. We are assisting in bringing those energies together. And so I want to say it's very important to choose the paradise timeline, regardless of the limitation of the mind or the media frenzy. When we look into the media, there really seems to be, on the economic level, they're willing to sacrifice the middle class and the small businesses to profit the big corporation and the speculative markets. But all of this is coming to the light so that people will see it and will be able to change it. Before we can change something, we have to become aware of really what's going on. And there is a really increase in consciousness. And so I wanted to come and say hello, discuss those ideas. So I recommend you to avail yourself to the Emerald Tablet of Thought. It's a book we need to read or listen to 100 times in order to integrate the knowledge. I've done it 85 times. I may complete this process, although Spirit says I got it. So, and Thought is a good friend. It's a good guide, and it's very powerful knowledge and wisdom that he's sharing with us in those tablets. The highest wisdom for us today is here and now. It's about being here and now, for the past and the future. And in the here and now, there is this birth and this rebirth. It's like coming out of the egg in the here and now. Eventually, we'll come to realize there is only the here and now. We will no longer be affected by the past or the future. We will just be in the eternal, the eternal now, the now of the one. And that's why we want to connect to the eternal life of God, our true self. What we need to understand is milk and honey, is the sense of prosperity, the sense of abundance, the sense of all the good things that can come into our life, that will come into our life as a result of this process of cleansing that we do in order to align with the higher frequency and choosing to do the highest the highest will, be a higher self. To always choose that and not be in judgment when we are not fully there, but to realign, to readjust. And that's why what we need to do is flexibility. We need to be flexible. We need to be able to be flexible in relationship to any circumstances. We need to be able to adapt our attitude, our perception of things, to find the wisdom in all circumstances. And the outcome is the soulmates. It's about it's about being true. It's about finding this. There is great love that will be coming. This very powerful connection that will be coming really soon. If it's not already there, if it's there, it will deepen. Otherwise, it is always in the work. It is part of the program. It will be anchored. And this meeting will come, and we'll find this the great joy of finding each other again. For all the world is our soulmate, but there are beings where we have soul contract that will resonate so much deeper than others. And sometimes we need to cut out the ties with many people that used to be part of our life, but are no longer. They have made a choice to go into a different direction. It is like, let them be, trust that they're doing whatever is right for them, and do what's right for you, and seek to find your tribe, your connection to those who are vibrating and thinking and believing and fulfilling your highest good, that are not putting you down. For those who are putting you down, they're doing that for some reason, but there is no more need for that in our life. The paintings behind me is part of a series of portraits. I will soon frame them and organize them. I can't wait to organize my work and to be able to buy some canvases. It will be nice to move into a studio to resolve all this situation. For 18 months, I've been living with a Damocles sword on top of my head, and Spirit says it's over. It's going to be a very situation that will allow me to come out of this situation and move to my next level. And this is a painting from I'm not really sure what dates, but I think it's 2008, and it's a cosmic painting with the sun. Everybody knows the sun. We've all seen the sun. It is the guardian of the collective soul, with Mercury, Venus, the Earth, Mars. Here is Pax or Maldex, Jupiter, Neptune, Chiron, Uranus, Saturn, Pluto, and here we have Nibiru. It's a rogue planet that came from Orion that will not have any effect on the ascension process. And there are small planets represented, such as Vesta, which is also a solar logos, with Helios, feminine solar logos, with Ceres, the goddess of growth and growth and everything that grows. There is the Juno, who's the goddess of faithfulness and family and deep relationships. Pallas Athena, that's right now. Pallas Athena, this planet, is in conjunction with Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn, so it's a very powerful influence. And then there is Lilith, the wild feminine, the darker archetype that's also represented. And then there is those visitors, those starships that are coming into the solar system. Here the sun has a Mayan aspect a little bit. I'm going to sing a song. That felt like singing this song today. It's a song, I think it was a song of a movie called An Officer and a Gentleman. It goes like this. Who knows what tomorrow bring? In a world few hearts survive. All I know is the way I feel. When it's real, I keep it alive. The road is long, there are mountains in our way, but we climb a step every day. Love lifts us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lifts us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear winds blow. Some hang on to what used to be, live their life looking behind. All we have is here and now, all our life out there to find. The road is long, there are mountains in our way, but we climb a step every day. Love lifts us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lifts us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow. Time goes by, no time to cry. Life's you and I, alive today. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear winds blow. I thought that was quite appropriate today to sing this song. It came through my head. And so, I had another rock song that came through my head. Maybe I'll sing it tomorrow. The card of the day is the Lady of Ariel. Mature, practical spirit, generous and happy. Take care of you and those you love. Capacity to make everything more beautiful. Practical and wise advice. So I hope I'm providing practical and wise advice, but continue to listen to it's a kind of prosperity, and to connect to the archangels, call on their presence, call on their advice, and give them permission to assist you in your life. I thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.